tới không? Đó.
Không, cô Linh qua tiểu bang khác thăm con của Linh rồi.
Chừng nào vậy?
Chưa biết nữa. Cái bang là Illinois gì đó.
Hồi trước là cũng chưa đi chợ tới chợ đúng không?
Trump supporters, I mean, if we simply cannot continue forward as a republic, I mean that again in the literal sense, there will be no republic left. Left is hell-bent on creating a system where one side has access to due process, both legal and moral, and the other side is nothing and is to be treated like a second-class citizen, and a bunch of dogs. You're to be treated like animals. We'll muzzle you when we see fit. We'll accuse you of the most awful crimes, being a racist, a transphobe, homophobe. Anytime you open your mouth, we cannot continue forward. The good news here, I'm telling you, the tide is turning. The left has tried this model so many times, folks. There's a shooting. Oh, you're all murderers. You're civil liberties advocates that fight for the right to defend yourself and the Second Amendment. You're murderers. If the race, there's a race narrative to be played. You did this. Fox News killed people. Dan Bongino, Tucker Carlson, you killed people. You got blood on your hands. They've tried it so many times. The good news here is it's wearing off. You can only be called this stuff so many times before people just start to gaff you off. Mainstream media down in the can. Hispanic and black voters, despite the fact that they're bombarded with messaging every single day by hacks and lunatics in the left-wing media about how conservatives can't stand them and don't love them, and that's all lies, all nonsense, they're still moving over in droves to our party, the party of liberty and freedom for all. They're still coming over in droves. I saw a story today, corporate CEOs now. There was some poll or survey they were doing where corporate CEOs are now starting to realize that getting in line with the latest, Jim, get your mug, current thing, for those Fox Nation, there you go. We always cheers as the current thing. There you go. Thank you. That corporate CEOs are now realizing that the endless rush to get behind the current thing, Black Lives Matter or whatever, which now looks like the biggest grift in modern American history. Did you see that report? I don't even have time for that today. I'll get to that tomorrow. That these corporate CEOs are now starting to realize that this 1% of America that sits in their mama's basement eating microwave pizzas, watching porn all day, these are the leftists. It's just some kind of a virtue signal or some faux bravado. Oh, things are going well, we're doing great when we're not. That's not going to do you any good either. That paints an unrealistic view of what reality is. I say it because I mean it. These boats are big. They are. When you're talking about zeitgeist-like changes, the entire nation, or large swaths of it, not the entire nation, no one's ever going to change everyone's mind, but large swaths of America start to politically shift and move around, it's like an aircraft carrier. It's not going to turn, like a kayak. But I'm telling you, the wheel is turned.
Trên đường Center của San Jose và website của Newland là www.
Away from wokeism and these endless charges of you guys are you're a racist, he's a racist, you're a racist, they're a racist too, mom's a racist, dad's a racist, kids are racist too. People are just, do you understand, like 20 years ago, I kid you not, a New York Times Levin too by that Davy Alba, a New York Times falsely, in a near defamatory way, claiming you were some kind of a racist, was a death sentence. Now, folks, I'm not kidding, it is an enormous nothing burger. Dick Confessor at the New York Times wrote this piece about Tucker Carlson, meant to be some manifesto to destroy his career, and I kid you not, Soviet, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yes, that's my point. Exactly. It was like rain-X on a windshield and a raindrop dropping right off. Nobody listens to these people anymore. Here's what I mean. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Yes, Jim cut this before the show. This is not in the podcast. This clip is original to the radio program. This is leftist lunatic up on Capitol Hill, Hakeem Jeffries, who never misses an opportunity to politicize the tragedy and abuse.
Trở lại chia sẻ bài dịch của Ngọc Chi từ Mike Don't Hear This Evergreen Home. Quy tắc giảm trừ, ít hơn có khi lại là nhiều hơn. Chỗ này làm em hơi bị chóng mặt. Ít mà lại có khi lại là nhiều, nghĩa là sao? Cùng với tất cả quý khán giả gần xa, nghe Mike Don't Hear nói coi có lý hay là không nhá. Đôi khi để đạt được thành công trong cuộc sống, chúng ta phải chấp nhận mất đi một số thứ. Cái này đúng. Khi nghĩ cách làm tốt một vấn đề nào đó, theo cái bản năng của chúng ta thường tập trung tìm thêm những phương pháp bổ trợ, hoặc xem cần những thói quen mới nào đấy. Khi muốn làm cho một cái công việc, hoạt động kinh doanh của mình, thì cũng sẽ hỏi cần nhận thêm cái gì, hoặc là thay đổi những cái lịch trình gì đấy. Khi muốn trở nên thông minh, chúng ta sẽ hỏi mình phải học thêm những kiến thức mới nào. Khi muốn có một sức khỏe tốt, chúng ta sẽ hỏi bây giờ mình phải có cái phương cách ăn uống như thế nào đây, tập tành như thế nào đây. Có một quy tắc thiết thực dễ áp dụng.
Chưa có thư gì hết rồi.
Chưa, như tôi có thấy trong nhà như con cái gì đó.
Coi đọc cái gì không có quan trọng thôi, khỏi đem ra. Hiểu chưa?
Dạ. Không biết có cái gì mà của Santa Clara County gì đó.
Gì đọc thử ra. Có, nếu quan trọng. Tuy nhiên mà nó nói về cái gì, đọc thử. Hiểu chưa? Coi cái bìa nó nói gì.
Giờ ba muốn ra luôn hay qua muốn bữa khác.
Coi cái có quan trọng thì có quan trọng thì
sáng quên đem ra.
And just what everybody else sees is not entirely optional. If we're going to imagine ourselves to be the people of God, we're going to have a desire and a willingness to cultivate an insight, an awareness, an understanding, a vision. Anyone who comes to God must believe that He exists, and that He's the rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. So here's the idea. I want to suggest that we develop a sense of faith. An awareness of God, perhaps in a new way. When you get an earth seed, you get 5 senses with which to negotiate life, to experience life. You can see and you can hear, you can taste, you can feel. Describe a bit of a separate life experience. Taste is very different than sight. Your sight is very different than what you hear. I mean, play with it a little bit. How does red sound? Well, what a stupid question. There are 2 different ways of experiencing the world. What does something that tastes bitter look like? Well, goofy, don't ask me that question. I can think of something that tastes bitter, and I can see that, but something that tastes bitter, how does it sound? I don't know. I'm confused. You see, our senses are integrated. If I say to you something is sharp or prickly, I'm describing something that is determined by feel or touch. But you will immediately integrate that sense of touch with a picture. You'll see a knife or a cactus or a needle. The same way you have cultivated your understanding. You've grown in those things. You've ate them. They don't have a fully functional They're limited. Their dexterity is limited. Their perception is limited. Their ability to interpret sound is limited. Their ability to make sound is limited. But as they mature and grow, they're able to begin those senses develop and their ability to process information. Well, in a very similar way, as we grow up in the Lord, we want to cultivate this sense of faith and integrate it into our life perspective so that we don't just walk by sight physically, we can walk by faith. That we can see our world not just from the tool set of our physical senses and our ability to process something rationally, but that we have set our mind on heavenly things, that we have set our heart on the things of God, so that we have another set of sensory information to help us process the decisions so that we can lead an overcoming life. When I say I heard the jingling of a slave, how do you see faith? It's not being foolish or presumptuous. It's not being bizarre. Faith isn't bizarre. The most faith-filled people I've ever known have been understated, have been unassuming. Faith doesn't mean you check your brain at the door. You're going to need your brain for the journey. You better take it. How do we see faith? I would suggest to you that faith is made visible in faithful obedience. If you want me to shorten it even a little bit more, I think your faith is evident in your faithfulness. If you're not a faithful person, you're not a person of faith. Period. I'm done with the conversation. But I think the word obedience needs to be included because the presentation, the visibility of faith is really most clear in your
Cái
faith.
check medical.
Có đưa cho coi rồi bác mình thử nước tiểu luôn.
Jesus is the greatest
Medical á, nó đã check.
Mai kêu nó có check,
Nó nói ok.
nó check xong rồi nó giấy để cho mình đem vô chỗ thông báo đưa cho nó coi đó.
This doesn't mean much to you right now. I mean, they're still quibbling about who's the greatest. Peter's saying, no, you're not touching me. Peter, you're going to deny me. No, these other guys, I'm with you, Lord. They're a little inconsistent, but I will never abandon them. Don't think, where there's no vision, where there's no insight, where there's no understanding, the people are unrestrained. We've lost our vision of God. How do we have rampant immorality and perversion and ungodliness and wickedness and greed, and that's within the church? We've lost our vision of God. We have a vision of orders of religious activity and religious behaviors and religious services. We have very little vision of God. What's God doing in the earth? What's he up to? What's his end game? What's his objective? What would he like to see happen? What's his desire for our children? We need a vision for that. We've settled for wanting an upgrade in the label in our clothes or the car we drive or the place where we vacation or becoming more adept at social media or something. We've lost our vision of the Lord. What's it mean to be the people of God? What are the ramifications of that? What are the implications of that?
Vô mở cái thơ đọc mấy chữ thôi